And we are going to be doing a subtraction question. We are doing 194 minus 87. So first of all, we're going to want to estimate. We have 194, which rounded up can represent 200. And 87 rounded up could represent 90. So we already know that 20 minus 9 equals 11. And so the only difference between these two is that there's an extra 0 added onto each of these, which if we add an extra 0, would give us an answer of 110. All right, so for using blocks to find the answer to 194 minus 87, we have a square, which represents 100. And now, because it's 90, which is the 10 spot, we need 9 tenths. So 6, 7, 8, 9. And now we need 4 ones to represent the 1 spot. So now we have 87. One thing that we can deduce right away is that 87 is smaller than 94. So our square is going to stay as it is. There's nothing we need to do with that. But 90 is going to be impacted by the 80. So we're going to take away 8 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which leaves us with a remainder of 110. So now we're going to do 7. We need to subtract the 7 from 4, but because 7 is... All right, so first and foremost, we're going to be using the block method to solve 194 minus 87. So the first thing that we can deduce is that 94 is greater than 87, so our 100, our square, is going to stay as is, and there's nothing that we need to do with it. But the 80 is going to be subtracting away from the 9, so now we need to take away 8 of our 9 tenths, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which leaves us with a remainder of 110. Now, we need to subtract 7 from 4, but 7 is greater than 4, which means we're going to need the assistance of the 10, which now we're going to break it down because we're going to need more ones. We're going to need 3 more, in fact. So now we have our 10 ones and our 4 that we already had. So now we need to take away 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That leaves us with a remainder of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And add that to our 100. We have a remainder, or a difference, of 107. Now to reiterate 194 minus 87, but doing it pictorially, we are going to draw our square, which represents 100, and now we need 9 tenths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 4 ones, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, like before, the square is okay on its own, which means we can move it over here on the remainder side, which leaves us with 94, for clarity's sake, minus 87. So now it's 8 tenths taken away from our 9 tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can just completely erase those because they are gone, taken away from the 87. Now, with that dealt with, we have what's left, which is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, minus 7. Now this has to dissolve and become more ones to assist. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We need to take away 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So to reiterate what we learned from the blocks, but doing it pictorially, a square represents 100. And one of these represents 10, so we need 9 of them, as it's 90. Now we have 9, and we have 4 ones. So because 94 is greater than 87, we don't have to worry about our 10 at all, and we can put that on the remainder side. But now we do have to worry about the 10s and the 1s, so we have to subtract 8 of these 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Which now leaves us with 17, but we still have to subtract the 7, which gives us 14 minus 7. And so now we have to break our 10 into ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take away 7 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We now have a remainder of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is what goes over here, which gives us an answer of 100. So now, looking at 194 minus 87, we're going to do it in a more symbolic way. First of all, we're going to want to break apart the different numbers. We have 100 minus 0, as there is no 1, so there could be a 0 there. We then have 90 minus 80, and 4 minus 7. So now it works very systematically as the flow works like that. The ones can borrow from the tens, and the tens can borrow from the 100s. But this equals 100, and this 90 minus 80 equals 10. Now 4 minus 7 is a little too awkward. We're going to need to borrow from the 10, which then gives us 14 minus 7. 14 minus 7 also equals 7. So this has been completely erased as we transferred it all the way over here. We now then have our remaining numbers, which is 7 and 100. So now we're going to add these numbers, which gets us our answer, also known as the difference in this case, of 107. Now a method I would approach this with a little more experience in math is very similar to the symbolic approach. So our 100 can go over there already because there's nothing to counter it. And then we have 94 minus 87. I would chunk this once again. 90 minus 80 and 4 minus 7. Now in this case, we will use a little bit improper math compared to the last version where we get our 10, but this time we go through with it and 4 minus 7 would be negative 3. And now that it's been chunked, we have to add all of these three numbers together. So now we have 100 plus 10 plus negative 3. That gets us our full answer, which is 110 when these two cancel each other out, to 110 minus 3, which equals 107. Now, if we compare it back to our approach, or our estimate from the beginning, our estimate was actually 110, which, as we can see here, is a difference of 3. Thank you for watching my subtraction video.